Hello, guys. Unfiltered Podcast here. Wanted to talk real quick. It's Friday, May 28th, I believe. May 28th. And the Miami Heat are now down 0-3 in their first round series against the Milwaukee Bucks. By the way, if the audio is bad on this one, I apologize. I'm actually driving on the way to work. I just want to get in here for a couple minutes to discuss some of the narratives going around the Heat. You guys know I'm a diehard Miami Heat fan. I've been for 31, 32 years, pretty much since the inception of the franchise. And a lot of the narratives now with the team down 0-3, especially coming out of this pandemic. Remember last year they went to the finals, albeit in the bubble, but still went to the finals. So there's a lot of people now today are panicking about the future, the immediate future of this team. Whether or not just to blow it up and all this stuff. And this was inspired by a good friend of mine, who basically, tweeted this morning. I woke up to this tweet saying that time to blow it up. And I don't necessarily disagree with him on that there needs to be changes made, probably. I think there is a hard line we can take, or at least there is a balance we can just speak of. We discuss the bubble and how, I won't go so far to say as what the Heat did last year was fluky in the bubble by winning, going to the finals as the 5 seed in the East. They certainly were a solid team. Obviously, they got some breaks too. Milwaukee was not playing well in the second round of the playoffs. Indiana, in the first round of playoffs, Indiana, they were discombobulated from the word go in the bubble. I said Milwaukee, they obviously we heard that they didn't adjust well to the bubble and everything else that happened there. And then Boston just kind of, shit the bed to themselves. So I'm not going to sit there and say that the bubble it gave a Heat an advantage, because the bottom line is that, all 30 teams in the NBA, or at least most of the teams that, that were in playoff contention, all came there, and had a chance to prove themselves, without any advantages, or significant advantages in terms of like having home court, whatever it may be. Miami Heat pulled it through, but now we're hearing now that people start talking, on the Twitter sphere and whatnot, social media, they believe that they got blown up above the roster. And when you start using the words "blow it up," to me, you're interpreting something as, I interpret the term "blow it up" as everybody's on the table to be traded or to be cut, however you would decide to modify each player depending on the contract, And I think that's just, to me, is unproductive. They're not a terrible team. They're actually a really good team. I will say that, and we saw this year too, how, the timing of the bubble and then the immediate turnaround of the season, all 4 teams that were in the both East and West finals last year have suffered greatly because of the timing issue, because of the quick turnaround. The Lakers, granted, they're playing well now, but they got the best player in basketball, arguably one of the greatest players of all time, in LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and yet they had to play in the play-in game. Denver Nuggets, lost their second best player on their team to ACL injury. I'm not saying the bubble was the reason why it happened, but they were, they found a footing late in the year, but they have got to a rough start. The Heat had a hard time finding their ground most of the year. And then Boston, we saw the Boston Celtics themselves too. They were in the East Finals last year, and they also playing game, and now they're getting blown up by the Brooklyn Nets in the first round as well. So all 4 teams that were in the finals last year, in the conference finals last year, respectively, all struggled to find footing this year. Even the champs, the Lakers, the champs. I don't think blowing up the roster is necessary. Are there tweaks to be made? Do we have to identify who are guys that may not, who maybe were overvalued last year in the bubble, that maybe they should take a second thought about, say, hey, maybe this guy's not really our future. Maybe he's just a little more overvalued than we thought. A guy like Tyler Hero, who had a phenomenal bubble last year, his rookie year, and then this season struggled, has been terrible in the playoffs. Maybe Tyler Hero's one guy, but you can tell me that Bam Adebayo, and we can sit here and we can discuss Bam Adebayo, not being aggressive enough, and some of the mental things that he has to get through, the hurdles to get through. The guy is still a phenomenal talent. The guy is, he's one of the best talents in the league. He has top 10 potential. You don't just blow it up just because you feel pissed off that you're 0-3. I don't find making emotional decisions productive at all. And this is why we have to, find a good balance between productive decisions and when it's actually time to blow it up. I don't think it's time to blow the Miami Heat. I think every player, yes, should be under a microscope unless your name is Jimmy Butler or Bam Adebayo. And that's just the doggone truth, Also, and let's be real here. Let's look at this a little more broadly. The Milwaukee Bucks the last 2 years were number 1 seed in the East. And yes, they felt under expectations, both years. They lost to Toronto 2 years ago after being up 2-0 against Kawhi and the Raptors. And then last year, of course, in the bubble, they faltered against the Miami Heat. And maybe Milwaukee took their roster. They let go of Eric Bledsoe, brought in Drew Holiday. So a tweak. They didn't blow it up. They just tweaked it. And now they're playing, they're back to that team that, we thought they would be 2 years ago. Except now there's less pressure because they're number 3 seed in the East. The Brooklyn Nets and the Philadelphia 76ers have gotten all the press in the East. So Milwaukee is kind of under the radar now. Like, are we sure Milwaukee is not ready to be a finals team this year? And that's the thing. Maybe we're just going to be beaten by a better team in general. Maybe we need to start giving Milwaukee more credit. I mean, yeah, Miami played like crap. Games 2 and Game 3. They almost won Game 1. But are we sure Milwaukee is... Milwaukee might be the best team in the Eastern Conference. Obviously, it's going to play out in the weeks to come, as Milwaukee's, they're going to finish off Miami at some point in the next day or two. Maybe Miami wins Game 4 to salvage some respect. Gentleman sweep, Game 5 in Milwaukee, I don't know. Although the last 2 games don't really leave much to desire. But are we sure Milwaukee is not the best team in the Eastern Conference? And I'm not saying that just because it's now all of a sudden because they blow out the Heat that we should probably... No, I think Milwaukee has been this good for the last couple of years. They had a couple failures, late in the year, and they tweaked the roster. They didn't blow it up. They didn't trade Giannis or trade Chris Middleton. They just tweaked the roster. And now they're, at least through this series, this first round series, they've now, reaped the benefits of that now. I don't know. I wish Heat fans, fellow Heat fans, would just calm down and, stop being over emotional about these things in that way. There's no need to blow out the roster, okay? Make tweaks. Yeah, if you want to trade Tyler Herro, so go at it. If you want to trade Duncan Robinson, go at it. But to sit there and when you say blow it up, what you're telling me is every single player on this roster is expendable, and to me that's just not productive to me. You cannot tell me Ben Adebayo is not worth your future. It's not worth is the future's team. He is. The guy is incredible. Now, are there things he needs to work on, mental things? Yes, we discussed that. But he's only 4 years in his career. Pretty got time, So that's just my rant for today because again, Heat not 0-3, very frustrating. Hey, it is what it is though. Sports is sports, and sometimes some teams don't have it on every given night. And the Milwaukee Bucks they're hungry. That's all I can really say about that. So, all right, till next one. Later.